Hey everybody, rolling in fast. Turn my volume down on my other thing. All right. What's up, Shari? You're in here quickly. You must have a question or something.
No, well, actually, I do want to reach out to you. So yeah, I do, but I'll hit you up. I'll email you. I'll schedule a time because it's
Cool.
long. I have a lot of questions.
Okay. You know where to find me. And I just switched my scheduling discovery call link to it actually is an embedded Calendly. It's still Calendly, but it's embedded on my website. So now every time I send somebody a link to schedule a 15-minute discovery call, they will go to my website, get pixeled, Facebook pixeled and market tagged or whatever, and then I can retarget them with ads. That's a fun little back end change I did this week. Not that there's like hundreds or thousands of people going there, but every everyone counts. Come up, wherever you are. I'll mod a few people up. We'll get rolling. I'll PTR. Shari, Maria, Jacqueline, Howard, Kevin.
Oh, hello,
Uh,
hello, 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 hello.
6-ish, something like that. I modded up. That's good. If you guys could help me, if anybody raises their hand and I'm not seeing it, bring them on up as long as they look like an actual person and not a bot or something. There's not much of that. There used to be a ton of that back in the day. There doesn't seem to be a ton of that. That's why I don't even say it in my resets, anything about like etiquette in a room or spamming or anything. Maybe I should, but hasn't been a problem yet. Knock on wood. Where are we at? 3 after. All right, let me get my link up here. Almost forgot that, and then I'll get started. Actually, I'm going to put that new discovery call link up at the top. How about that? That's a good idea. And if you click that discovery call link, you can schedule a discovery call. uh, but you can also, that would take you to my website where you could also find the Clubhouse replays. So replays are still available via the link atop.
Oh, and he had an awesome,
There we go.
awesome room last week. Not that you don't always hear it, but and Derek's working on websites so he can do websites for us. Right, Derek?
Yes. Um, yeah, the only holdback is me paying for, basically, I got to build a template model. And I kind of have the basic layout of what I want already and the basic content, but it still takes somebody that builds websites as their specialty to build it in a nice, pretty, better than I can way. So that will be coming at some point. Or if anybody does need a website and they want, I mean, websites typically cost thousands of dollars, and that's like entry level, couple thousand, few thousand, on up to wazoo, depending on what you're doing. The reason I want to come up with a template is so that we can hopefully cut that cost down for agents. I was trying to hit like the $1,000 mark. That's it's looking to be kind of hard because even with a template, there's still a bunch of work that has to be done to customize it. But like that was my goal at some point. So I'll see if I can achieve that. But if you do need in the meantime website help, I do have subcontractors, or if it's like basic stuff, I might be able to help you myself. And look at that, we're at 5 after. Thanks for that little pitch right there at the beginning, teed up
Yes,
by
and you
Mia.
you know I have another idea, but we'll save it till you work out my whatever.
All right, you just speak up when you want to. All right. Let me find my thing. We'll get started, I think. Yeah. You're in the Google for Real Estate House. As usual, click the house above to join if you haven't already. Don't think I see any blue tickets in the audience today. We're here every Wednesday, 9 to 10 a.m. I'm Derek Bixler, born and raised in South Central Pennsylvania, single dad of 3 awesome kids, one of which is going to Italy on Thursday for 10 days, my oldest daughter. And I'm not super excited. I mean, I'm excited for her, and that's going to be awesome. She's going with my ex-wife and parents and their family or whatever. So awesome experience for her, but I will miss the crap out of her. And I'll have the twins by themselves without her for 10 days, which is some kind. We'll miss her, obviously, but sometimes fun also because the more of them are together, the more trouble it is. So sometimes it's easier, but not saying we're glad she's gone. So anyway, single dad of 3, commercial and residential real estate agent of 17 years. Actually, just got a commercial call yesterday off my Google business profile from house. Well, it's a 4 unit, like 20 houses up from me, maybe. And clearly he called me because he was sitting in that property, Googled commercial realtor near me. I have it selected because I can actually do it. And he called me, he asked me for an appraisal. And I stupidly referred him, I like today frantically trying to go back on what I told him. He asked for a commercial appraiser. And I don't do that, obviously, but my old firm does it, and I can sometimes get a referral fee from that. So I was like, I'll give you a number of blah, blah, blah. Not even thinking. I was just in a hurry to get on to what I was doing. Stupidly, what I should have said was, you don't need an appraisal. I can come over there for free, give you a market analysis, and gone down the listing road. And I did kind of ask him, like, is this for selling it or not? And he was like, nah, I just want to kind of know what it is. Maybe if the price is crazy or something like that. So I completely messed up that call and I'm trying to backtrack it this morning. And yeah, it's right there. So clearly, proximity there. He Googled commercial realtor near me. I'm like 50 yards, 100 yards down the street from him. So I would be top of the pack, even if he was farther away. I rank well, so I would still be close to the top of the pack. But that's the Google Business Profile in action. Hopefully, I can turn that into something because it's a sweet property. I know the property. I ride past the back of it. There's a business called Toys with Wheels there. It's just like a little garage off the alley or whatever. But I've always wanted to know what goes on in there. So anyway, uh, commercial and residential realtor of 17 years, outdoor adventure sportsman, and Google marketing geek. In this room, we talk about how to dominate local search with your Google business profile and get calls like I was talking about, as well as discuss other Google stuff and sometimes marketing stuff outside of the Google realm also. Replays are on, available via the link atop. That's a schedule link, a schedule call link up there now. But like I said, you can find my replays on my website. I think if you click the Google Business Profile tab, there's a bunch of drop down stuff. It should be there. Or just go to my email list and I send it out every day. Replays are available and I send them out, like I said. And please come up to stage. I like to have a full stage. Feel free to stop me at any point and ask a question. And if you know something about it or have an experience, I want to hear that too. And if you're in a different profession, again, another reminder that most of what we talk about could be applied to any other local type business that might use a Google business profile. So today we're going to talk about, we're going to do the live audit part 2 of Martha Schmecker, realtor in Charlotte and Waxhaw. And what state is, I guess that's South Carolina, right? We're going to do live audit part 2, review exchange. Encouraged again, if you want to, you can put your review link in the chat. I did not, and not too many people did. I did get one last week from, I forget, I think I got a couple last week actually, and I am in the midst of replying to a bunch of you, and I gave some other people a review. Can't find mine to put in there. There it is. So it works if you work it. Some might not show up, but they do show up. And even if I miss 4 of them, but get 1 out of it, not that that many happens at once, but I'm happy with it just to get that 1. So put them in there, encouraged to give other people reviews. And again, send them the screenshot to prove it. And hopefully guilt them into giving you a review back. And if you've given me one and I haven't given you one back, you can feel free to bug me. I've got a couple on my. You can hear my piece of paper that has the people I need to reciprocate with. So, all right, we'll get started. We'll do some Ask Me Anything stuff before we get started. Does anybody, Shari, you said you're going to wait till later. Anybody else questions before I get started? Go into it.
I'll ask one of my questions. Good morning, everyone. It is Shari from St. Louis. So I am doing the LSA ads, and so my app doesn't work, and every time I call them, they can't help me. Have you had anyone, Derek, that like the app doesn't work? Because I can't dispute anything. I have to like do a screenshot of the phone number and then go back. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, the app on the phone does suck. There's lots of glitches and things, and they change it, or it just they up whatever. It sucks. I never use it. I can't even log into it because the I can't change the user. I'm a admin on I don't even know how many accounts at this point, and I can't toggle between. It's always set to one person. That person's in this room, I think, but it's always set to that person, and I can't. There's no way to toggle out of it, so I don't even use it. But it does suck. Yeah, I would. They are switching. I don't think this is what it is. They are switching to automatic crediting. So disputing is going away and the AI is just going to decide and it will be what it is. I don't think that's what's happening though. I would go on desktop to do it and see if the three dots with the dispute is on there.
Okay.
Have you tried to do it on desktop?
Yeah, that's what I normally do, but there's so many times when I get the calls when I'm in the car and I have to keep a piece of scratch paper like on the passenger seat, or I just do a quick screenshot of the phone number so I remember to dispute it.
Yeah. Well, here's a pro tip. If you just go in your browser, like on your internet browser on your phone, and then go to local services ads there. And then don't just log in because it's going to be a mobile version, at least on Android on my phone. This is what I have to do. It's going to be, if you sign in, it's going to mobilize it and give you a mobile version, which will be similar to the app and be messed up and not work and be blah, blah, blah. So when I go to local services ads, which is the hugest pain in the ass, I go to my browser, I switch it to show me the desktop version. So it's going to show me everything as it would appear on a desktop, not a
Thank you.
mobilized search, not a mobilized whatever. So you're going to see the local services ads dashboard as you would see it on a desktop. It's going to be tiny and suck, and you're going to have to like zoom in and move around and stuff, but it does give you the full, like, same as desktop if you do that. And that's a little pro tip for anything too. If you're on some mobile version and it keeps mobilizing or doing something that you don't like, you can always go to your browser. On Android, it's pretty easy. You just click like the three dots in the browser and click show me desktop site or whatever. And I'm sure iPhones have some similar thing. And then you can see the full desktop. And again, it's going to be way zoomed out. All the things are tiny, but you can zoom in and possibly access the stuff you have to access. Any follow-ups to that? Other LSA local services ads questions or anything else? And Shari, actually, well, she's on the phone now. If anybody, if you go to dispute a lead and you see that you can no longer dispute a lead that's not even there, um, please let me know because they are rolling out the automatic crediting. I haven't seen it happen in any accounts yet, but yeah, I would like to be the first to know when it is spotted in the wild, and usually don't roll it out to everybody at once. All right, so if there's no other questions, let me invite some people that I see came into the room. Come on up, come on up. You don't have to talk. You can if you want. I'm going to get into the audit here in a second. All right, so I got her pulled up here. Martha Schmecker. Are you in the audience today? I didn't look for Martha. Martha, are you here? Are you here? Are you here? I did notice she did a couple of the things based on what we talked about. but I don't see her here. If she shows up, somebody speak up, or I guess she will speak up for herself if she comes back. So we are, and I'll put her Google Business Profile link in the chat. So if you want to look at it as I'm talking about it, you can. So that's the link I just put in the chat, is Martha Schmecker, which is that's a name that would fit in here in Pennsylvania. Good Dutch, Pennsylvania Dutch, German, something sounds German, Pennsylvania Dutch, something like that. So we are looking at her Google Business Profile, and 2 weeks ago we did part one, and we got through her name/title, which I did notice she changed up. Based on what I said, it does look better than it did. There are one little tweak I would make to it, but she pretty much followed the directions and looks pretty good for the most part. The tweak, if you care or are looking at it, I would have put the word realtor after the place. She put realtor Charlotte and Waxhaw. I would have put Charlotte and Waxhaw realtor, just because it makes more sense phonetically or when you're reading it. But not a huge deal. Still have all the keywords in there and blah blah blah. So her name title we already went over. It looks like she already fixed. Her photos section we went over. Looks like she's added some photos since last time. Some of those I may or may not have added personally, but she is on it and starting to add them, so that's good. Categories. We talked about categories, and we talked about her services. So, and I didn't check those to see if she did anything, but we'll keep moving along. So now we need to talk about her chat, which note is going away this month, basically, but we'll still click it and check it out just in case it doesn't happen or Google says, well, we're still going to keep it. So I am still optimizing chats for everybody until it actually for sure disappears. So we'll check her chat out, we'll check her scheduling link, her products, her updates, her offers, her events, and her website. And I think that's everything. So first one of those is her chat. I think I had her pulled up on my other phone. Maybe not. We'll use this one. All right, so the chat is only available on mobile. You won't see it on desktop. Usually at the top in the row of buttons where it says, like on hers, directions, call, saved. If you have her saved to a list, share, post, blah, blah, blah. Up there would be a button that says chat, and possibly other places, or down below there would be a button that says like message this business or chat with this business. But she does not have the button at all, which usually means it is not turned on, which is somewhat common because it's, I think, off by default when you sign up for it or create your Google Business Profile. And if you don't know any better or didn't look at it, then it would still be off. And again, probably doesn't matter at this point, but I can tell that it's not on. If it were on, I would have the ability to click the chat button, and then I could look at her automation that you can set up and see if she has that set up. There's a welcome message that you can dictate in there. I usually have it say, hi, how can I help you with your home buying and selling needs? Something fairly short. I do like to put the phone number in there, structured 123 dot 456 dot 56789 90, whatever. I lost count there. But with the dots, and structure it that way, because that's clickable, and other ways might be clickable too, but I like to put the phone number in the welcome message. And then there are also pre-populated like options you could put in there. So I would have options like sell a home, find a home, relocation assistance, blah, 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 contact us, all those kinds of things. You could put in there, and then if they click that pre-populated button, it would serve them up another message where you could put links or phone numbers or any kind of message back to them you want to. So she doesn't even have the button. She doesn't have it turned on, so I can't click it to check it. But again, another note, as of July 15th, they said nobody will be able to message you anymore. And as of July 31st, the messaging thing will go away completely along with all your conversations and everything. So we'll see if that actually happens when they said it happens. So that's the chat. Scheduling link. So let's go down. She does have a scheduling link. In your dashboard, there's a button that says bookings. So that's where you put your scheduling link. You can put multiple links in there. I like to just put one because just keep it simple. Have one general one for home buying and selling consultation or preliminary call or whatever you want to call it. I have a specific way I do like to structure it. You definitely only want it to be 15 minutes. Something, this is a scared deer in the woods. You're trying to get them to come over here and lick this piece of salt. So you don't want to do anything to scare them. You don't want it to be some huge barrier to get past and some overwhelming thing I got to deal with. So you want to keep it really kind of basic. I would definitely not go longer than 15 minutes. I would call it a call and not a meeting. A meeting is heavy and a lot. I've seen some that it's like he calls it, it was like an intake meeting at office, 120 minute, maybe it wasn't high, it was at least an hour. And then in the instructions was like a book, and please bring all these things with you, and there were like 10 things listed what we'll do, and then there was like 30 list of items we'll do in this meeting. It was just way too much. Like nobody is ever going to click that and do that. So you want to keep it really simple. 15 minutes, maybe even 5 minutes seems really non-threatening. um, 5, 10, definitely I have 15 as my default. I wouldn't do any longer than 15. Definitely call it a call and not a meeting. And then you want to put a description. I can see that hers is just called 30-minute meeting. So she set up Calendly and just went with all the default settings and didn't do anything past then because that's a default heading of like the default one that they make in there when you sign up, I believe. There's no description, so it doesn't tell anybody anything about what they would be doing if they clicked on it, if they went through with it. It is 30 minutes, so I would back that down to 15 minutes. So step one, she does have a link there, which is good. You want to at least check that little 1% box or whatever that accounts for your completion of your profile, and give people the ability to do that. Does it happen a lot? Very rarely, but also it really won't happen if it sucks. Like if I've had a here and there, you get it, and there's like, holy crap, that actually happens. And YouTube people know what it feels like more probably, but here or there it might happen, but it definitely won't happen if the structure of it sucks and it's not inviting and set up the right way. And I would have your headshot and like add any graphics, change any colors. I would really spend some time on that Calendly link. It's not just creating, and you could use another program too. I just use Calendly and deep in it, can't get out now, but Acuity or Microsoft, if you pay for Microsoft Office 360 or whatever, they also have a scheduling thing. It's only browser based, I think. I don't think there's an app for theirs, but it's pretty much they like just mimicked Calendly. So there is a Microsoft version of it, and you might be able to use that free. And then Google does have a little bit of one, but I would not use it. It sucks. I've tried. Yeah, don't use that. I don't advise using Google's at all. Yeah, it sucks. So Calendly's mine of choice. I pay for it, but you can not pay for it and be able to set up just at least the basic one for this purpose. So she does have one. That's good, but I would structure it better for better conversion. Maybe it possibly could happen if it's structured better. Any questions about the chat or the scheduling booking link? Sweet. I must be explaining it perfectly on point. Products. Ooh, one of my favorite sections. So I gotta go back. I'm just gonna scroll down her profile and I don't see any products. I don't see any tabs for products. Click see all, which really wouldn't take me to the products, but Uh, yeah, don't see any products on her profile. I don't see any hours either. That's a basic kind of information thing that you definitely want to have on there. So before I talk about the products, I'll talk about the hours. You want to have 24 hours for sure. New algorithm change as of, I feel like it's been a while now, but maybe, I don't know, 6 months, a year. But before people started talking about it, I was already noticing it. So it kind of didn't seem like news. when people started talking about it. But the new algorithm change bases rankings on whether you're open or not. So if you're open, you'll be at the top. If you're closed, you'll be below the people that are open for the most part. Out of the people that are open, it will rank those out of who's the better ranking one or whatever, and the same out of the closed ones, but the open people will be above the closed ones. So now, with that change, we want to go 24 hours a day. Before, I used to say don't do 24 hours a day because Google would sometimes call a business and then if you weren't open, kind of ding you or change your hours for you or whatever. But it rarely happens, and the trade-off is better in favor of being 24 hours and possibly getting those calls. And I want to be ranking all day long, not just during business hours or till 9 p.m. or whatever. I want to be ranking in the middle of the night when nurses or doctors or emergency room workers or warehouse managers or whatever, those people that work at night who also buy houses and also sit on break or at work killing time looking at houses, looking for a realtor or whatever. I want to be ranking when they're looking, no matter what time of day it is. So hours, you definitely got to add them, whatever they're going to be. But 24 hours is what I would do as the hours. And now the products. I don't see any products. In your product section, you definitely want to fill that in. It's largely overlooked by services businesses because they figure I don't sell t-shirts or widgets or whatever. I don't have products per se, so that's not a section for me. Or they're not doing anything on their Google business profile, so it just not hasn't even crossed their path. But for service businesses, you do want to productize your services and add them as products. So one thing you do is add your services as products, and these things you kind of do once and don't really have to do again for a long time. They just kind of sit there unless you wanted to tweak them or update them or delete or add or whatever. But these would be things like free home price evaluation, listing services, buyer agency services, first time buyer services, downsizing buyer services, downsizing listing services, military and veteran services, relocation services, all these kinds of things. I think I don't know how many, should count them, something like 10 or 10 to 10-ish, I guess, as default to mine. Let's pull it up. I'll pull up mine, and mine not be the most up to date compared to client ones, but let's see. My services 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not a lot. I don't have a newsletter one. I don't have. Did they remove some of mine? My general listing services one is not there. My buyer agent one is there. Estate sales, investments. Uh, huh. Good thing I looked at mine because I think some are missing for some reason, possibly. Listing services. Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, you could have anywhere from you. There should be at least basic ones: buyer agent services, listing agent services. If nothing else, you should at least have those two. I would highly recommend having relocation services on there because Google is a big place where people for referrals or people relocating search Carlisle Realtor or whatever, and they want to see that, so that's good to have that on there too. So those are probably the three first ones, and then you could add on, the first time buyer, the downsizing. You could have a staging one if you do staging for free, estate sales or probate kind of thing. Any other specialties or things that you do. Um, so I would definitely get at least three to four products in there, and then sky's the limit on how many. I would say maybe try to shoot for a nice 5 to 10 makes it seem like a nice kind of complete, and there's a lot there for the person to look at, yada yada. And maybe you don't want a ton because there's too much to look at. Maybe there's probably an argument for that as well, but I would say go try to add something at least if you don't have anything in there. And you can always look at mine, or if I've worked on somebody's profile, you can always look at their profile to see some examples. Some things will vary. If somebody has a newsletter, you can put a newsletter in there. If they don't have a newsletter, you're not going to see a product for the newsletter in there. Um, what else? Or like buyer, if somebody has a home buying tips blog or email list or something. You could have a home buying tips product in there that links out to signing up for that or to the blog page or whatever. So product sections will vary based on resources and assets that people have, but absolutely everybody can add at least 2 to 3 to 5 general services products, um, or informational products, I guess is what some of those are. And then the thing that really helps with conversion, which is what we all care about the most, is the sold products. So you definitely also want to add sold houses in a sold homes category. So when you create a product, you can place it in a category. If the category doesn't exist already, you create the category. And then and I called mine sold homes. You could name it something else if you wanted to. I like to be super straightforward, but sold homes category. And then it's a bunch of houses that I've sold. And I like to, when I optimize somebody's profile, try to start by adding 5 right away to populate it. So you dump all your services in there and you dump 5 solds, and now your product section is pretty banging as long as you're following the best practices for the setup of everything and everything. Um, and then in perpetuity, every settlement, part of my settlement checklist is every settlement gets placed in there as a sold house. So over time, I've got at least one client where I think we've got a whole year's worth. There's like 50 or something in there. We might be missing one, or every time we audit, we're pretty close to being spot on because I try to add them when she has a settlement. I manage her profile, but it's a place where you just put them in there in perpetuity forever. And I have case study, multiple people saying they got a call and the person said, I called you because you were selling more in the neighborhood, or it looked like you had more sales or whatever. And the only thing that would have displayed that on the Google Business Profile was the sold houses on the product section. So I know that's what it was. And in all those cases, they had lots of sales, but they only had like 5 or 7 or a few of them added to their product section. So it doesn't even take a whole ton to have some impact and some conversion factor to help people. But I would just keep adding them in there because that's a good impact. If somebody comes along your profile and they come along your product section as they're scrolling your profile, and it's just like sold, sold, sold house, sold, sold, and all the addresses are in the town in Carlisle, 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 or nearby towns. So you're reiterating, it's kind of like social proof. It's sold houses are a form of social proof and proof that you do what you do in the place that you do it. So for sure, I would add sold houses in your product section. Again, you can go to my profile if you need examples. One note, big note, is since these are meant to sit here forever, being somewhat evergreen, and being a place where you could even send people to say, hey, go here to this link to check out my sold houses. You can have a direct link right to your product section. But I would not put the price in there because they are meant to sit there forever. You do not want to put the price in there because something that sold for, I don't know, 300,000 here 3 years ago might be like 450 now, and that would look weird if somebody is looking at it years later. So I just don't put the price in there. I clearly state that it's sold. You're adding it as a product on a public forum, like marketplace kind of thing. So you don't want to be caught for saying something's for sale that's not for sale. So I put sold right across the picture. That's pretty much all I put on the picture. I put sold right in the title, and sold is the first thing in the description. So I'm super, super straightforward about being sold. And then you want to link out to typically I'll link out to either a Calendly link, or you could link out to a page. And I forgot I set this up. I just clicked on one of mine. It takes you to a page on my website where you would be pixeled, and I could retarget you with ads that says sale closed. Sorry, this sale closed and the home is no longer available. If you're interested in selling your home, check out my triple guarantee, blah, blah, blah. And then it's just like a copy or a paste of my listing services page. So I guess I created that at some point. I forgot about that. But typically I will link to, if you don't have that, that's kind of extreme. And a Calendly link might even be better, arguably, because it's more straightforward and straight to calling you. That's what we're always going for on the Google Business Profile. They came there, they searched Google, realtor near me. They're looking for somebody to call right now to do a thing. So your hope profile should be geared towards getting them to call you right now, not sending them down a rabbit hole anyway. So Calendly link would be good there. You can't do a call button as one of the choices of the buttons in products, but when somebody looks at your products, there is always a call button at the top next to your name. So on your products, there's always a phone call button. And then for the link that you do when you create the products, I would do a Calendly link, or if you're extra special and have some page created, you could send them there. And then for the services where you're sending them is obviously if you have a listing services page on your website, you would probably send your listing services product link to that. Or if you don't have a website, again, you could just drop your Calendly link into every one of your products, both the services and the solds. And I think that would at least suffice. You could go further with it, but that would do for now. And even if you don't have any of those things and you don't add a link at all and you have nothing to link out to, still create the products. Super impactful. It's the second. There are three places people see imagery on your Google business profile: your photos section, which is way at the top, the second most viewed thing other than your reviews. Then as they scroll your profile, they'll see your products section. That's a little bit smaller than the photos section, still imagery though. And then when they keep scrolling, the last thing they will see is your updates, which is the biggest imagery on your profile that they will see. So there's three places they will see imagery, and you can dictate said imagery, and the product section is one of them. And the sold houses definitely help convert. So as it relates to Martha, she does not have products, and I would definitely fully optimize her product section. One little note, uh, it is actually against Google's policy to for service business to productize their services or use it the way that we all do as services businesses, but they do not police it. They don't seem to care, so we keep doing it until they do care, and I hopefully they never do because it's a great feature in there that I like to utilize for sure. Any questions on the product section? I know that was a lot. Nope. Sweet. All right. Updates. Let's keep scrolling. As I said, the updates is the biggest imagery on a profile, maybe equal to the photos section at the top, possibly, but pretty big, equal to that. If I could get back to the right place. All right, there we are. If you scroll on somebody's profile, and let me just double check on desktop because I'm not seeing any updates slash posts on her profile. Let me check on desktop. I don't see any updates on a profile there either. So step one, you need to post updates. Updates they are separate from the photos section. They are separate from the product section. Everything I talk about is specific to a section of the profile. A lot of people get mixed up. I talk about the product section and they do that in the photos section, what I was talking about or whatever. So the updates, um, are a completely separate thing from the product section and from the photos section. It is typically the last thing people see as they're scrolling your profile. It is also, like I said, has the most imagery, and it is an endless scroll until they get the end of it, to the end of it. And most people aren't. If you have tons of updates, they're never going to get to the end of it. They'll stop and either call you or go to somebody else. So you definitely want to have updates. You want to be posting updates not only for Google to like you, but also for conversion. And I'll get into the best update to do in a second. But you definitely want to keep doing them to do them for Google to like you a little bit. Google will only show your updates for 6 months, I think it is. So if you haven't posted an update in forever, you might go to your profile and not see any there. You will a lot of times get an email that says your posts are about to expire. Would you like to post something? Let customers know you're alive is kind of what it says. So you definitely want to post updates, both for conversion, looking good when people are looking at your profile, and then also for brownie points with Google. Now, it is not TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, It is not any of those things. You do not need to post 50 times a day. It's not a feed that people are going to 100 times a day that you need to stay in front of them all day long with stories and crazy videos and spending tons of time on content. It is not those platforms. People are going to see your profile and see your updates once, maybe twice, maybe three times in their entire life. They'll see it when they're look realtor near me. They look at your profile, they see it then maybe when they go back to give you a review, possibly, and then maybe once or twice in the rest of their life, looking for you for next time or whatever. So they're really not going to see it that much. There's no place they're going. You don't need to do it for Google's algorithm. You also don't need to be posting every day or 5 times a day or any of that mumbo jumbo. You really can simplify it. You definitely do need to be posting updates, but it doesn't have to be anything crazy, which would bring me to my favorite and high converting updates. So, what I do is testimonial posts. And if you went to my profile, you would see it's just testimonial posts, meaning a meme, uh, a picture with like a 5 stars and a word called out, work ethic, diligent, knowledgeable, or whatever. I usually just pull 2 big words so it has really big impact, not the entire review. That bugs the crud out of me because you can't read it. It has no impact. They have no reason to click the your caption to read the caption if everything's already in the picture. And it's more about the impact. For a big block of text does not have the same impact as like a big 5 star and a big awesome professional or something really calling out to the people. So that's how I like to do it. You can do it however you want. But what I do is just I try to do one a week. I take a review. It could be a past review if you haven't gotten one recently. You can always go back, go to your Zillow reviews, Google. It could be your Google reviews. It could be redundant from what's right above. It could be Yelp reviews, reviews on Rate My Agent, reviews from anywhere you could use down here as your updates. I do one a week. And if you look at mine, you'll see that it is super simple. It is the best thing since sliced bread to solve the updates problem. All you do is click add update. I go into Canva, change the 2 words in the image, so nothing else changes in that image, just changing 2 words from the testimonial, and then I copy and paste the entire testimonial with under it says like Jack home seller or something. So I don't have to think about what I'm writing. I'm just copying and pasting the review, putting the person's name and what they were, and then the image that I go to Canva and it takes 10 seconds to change 2 words that are taken out of the review. Bam, bam, call now button. You can do a call now button on updates. And again, that's what we're trying to always achieve, the call me right damn now. So always a call now button on those. So super, super simple to do. And they have great conversion factor. They get people to call you. If you think about it, when somebody's looking, they go Carlisle Realtor or Realtor near me. I pop up as one of the top ones. They like my face or like however it looks at that point. They scan my stars, 70 some stars. I can trust this person. Click on it to look at the profile. And as they're scanning my profile, it's reiterating what they searched for. So Carlisle Realtor, this person searched for somebody. My phone just rang. I hate not answering calls because that could be a Google call, but I will not. So they're scanning. They search for Carlisle Realtor, and my title says Carlisle Realtor. They like my face or whatever, so they click to expand it. And then my whole profile, as they scroll my profile, is again reiterating that and telling them that I'm awesome. I do what they need done in the place that they need it done, and I'm awesome. So it's does what I need and looks awesome as they scroll, does what I need and looks awesome, does what I need in the place and looks awesome. And then the last thing they get to as they scroll all this stuff is my updates. So then again, they hit the last thing they see is awesome, diligent, awesome, 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 an endless scroll of testimonials and people saying that I'm awesome. Okay, I'm convinced. Click the call now button. So it definitely is super great for conversion. Everybody that calls me immediately, almost every person from Google, without even prompting it, yeah, I found you. You had really good reviews and lots of reviews, and they always reference the reviews. And they could be some of them just referencing just the main reviews that they're seeing or whatever. But I'm sure it has an impact, and I've even had at least two mention visuals, or it seemed to have a lot of reviews. There was one word that somebody said to me that made me know, because I picked a certain word to bring out in one of the testimonials into the picture, and the person referenced it, and that's how I knew. I was like, oh, he must have seen the updates, and that's what he was referencing. Seamless, seamless was it, and I don't have it in anywhere else that I would have called it out or any other reason that he would have seen that. So anyway, updates is how I do that. Testimonial posts. So that is, she doesn't have any. She just needs to post some kind of updates. If you wanted to post, just copy and paste your real estate posts from other places, tips or listing stuff, all that kind of thing. You can do that too. It's not totally against it. If that's what you have to do to be posting something, then do that. You definitely want to be putting something out there. Definitely don't pay HomeSnap, or what used to be HomeSnap, I guess, or I think YLopo is one of them, or any number of services that you can pay that just have a back-end API connection to post updates on your behalf. That's pretty much all any third-party software can do. That's, as far as I know, the only API tie-in to Google is the updates. So if you're paying for some ongoing service like that, and $50 a month for them to post these updates, which you can see right away are from HomeSnap, and I could call them from a mile away. They all look the same. They look terrible. They have no impact in conversion for them. So I definitely wouldn't pay anybody to be posting updates unless you've really looked into it and know what is happening, or it's a person and you've talked about your strategy and they're actually posting things that will benefit you. I would not pay for any of those. And some people it's running and they don't even know until I look at their profile, and then we go into their access panel and they still have YLopo or HomeSnap or somebody in there. Like, oh my God, I'm still paying for that, and they're still manager or owner. Sometimes they're the owner of it because they created it for them. So don't pay. Check if anybody's still owner or admin in your panel if you ever had any of those services. But I would not pay for updates. It should be really easy if you do the testimonial strategy that I do. Once you get used to it, it should take no time at all. And one a week, even if you only have 10 reviews, that's 10 weeks. If you have 25 reviews, that's half a year right there of posts. If you wanted to space it out, every 2 weeks could be okay, maybe. Um, I've heard people even say once a month is good enough. Again, Google, you don't have to post every day or 50 times a day. It's not a feed that you need to stay in constantly like crazy. Posting a little bit is obviously good brownie points with Google and being complete and everything, but it's more about conversion. You want to look awesome when people look at your profile, and when they get to that update section, you want it to not say last post 5.5 months ago, because they'll disappear at six. 5.5 months ago, you want it to say last post 2 days ago, post before that 9 days ago, last post before that 16 days ago, or whatever your frequency is. So you want to be up to date. Google will also on mobile pull your updates up to the top and insert them into the photos section. So when somebody's side scrolling or looking at your photos section on mobile, especially on the Google Maps app, it will bring and insert updates in there sometimes, which I also love these testimonial posts for. So even if they're looking and scrolling in my photos, it's stuff that we've talked about, good practices for my photos. Plus, every fifth one or something is a testimonial in there that says awesome, diligent, blah, blah, blah. So I like that too. That's something kind of new that started happening on Google. It's been a while. I've never really talked about it, but they will insert your updates sometimes up there into the photos section from time to time. So updates you definitely want to do. Updates, aka posts. So if you ever hear somebody talking about I post, quote unquote, to my Google business profile, if they're saying I post, that typically means they are updates, not products, not photos. They are typically talking about updates. I mean, a lot of times people have to clarify and say exactly what they mean by post, but we are talking about updates right now, posting updates. In your updates, there are two other kinds of updates that you can do. So you can do your regular updates that we've just been talking about. That's kind of like akin to a social media post. And then you can also post offers and events. So events are somewhat straightforward. You definitely want to post, and I don't see any on hers. She doesn't have any updates at all, no events either. You definitely want to post events. If you have any events coming up when somebody's scanning your profile, it will have a line item that says events coming up from this business. Or even in your branded search results, Google will insert sections of your Google business profile, your reviews, your products, your updates, your events from this business, that kind of stuff. So I would definitely add events, open houses, obviously add every open house in there. Again, the purpose of adding your open house or any other event to your Google Business profile is not necessarily to get more traffic to your open house. You're not going to get a bunch of views and a bunch more people there and a bunch of SEO or a bunch of people looking at something. It's more for completeness of your Google Business profile and converting that person that might be looking at your profile. So I would definitely add events there if you have them coming up. It's pretty easy to, if you're creating your Facebook event like you should, you can just copy and paste and use all the same imagery and text and everything for your Google Business Profile event. If you don't have any open houses, or you don't, maybe you have a client event, or your brokerage has a client event, or you're a part of some nonprofit event, or anything that you would have permission to and be able to post as an event, you could. And even if it's 6 months away, 9 months away, you could still post it as an event right now so that you have something in that light item events coming up from this business. So to add an event on mobile in Maps, it's a separate button, but in other places you would click to add an update, and then you would select to click to post an event, and then you would set it up from there. So events, I would definitely add, and offers. Same thing there. If you have a couple offers, which you add via added add an update. So click add update, click offers, and then you add it from there. You want to have offers because again, it's going to be a separate line item on your profile, offers from this business. If they do the branded search, again, they might insert that section in your branded search results, offers from this business. So every profile, when I optimize them, I do at least 2 offers by default, free home price analysis and free buyer consultation. I have a lot of people that we might add free home staging. I have one on mine, no dual agency as an offer. I also have a triple guarantee as an offer. So you could definitely, everybody could add at least 1 or 2. If you don't like buyers, you should add the home price analysis. If you don't have somewhere to send people with the home price analysis, you can send them either to your Calendly link or you could create a Google form for free. So home price analysis offer for sure, and then you could have a buyer agency, a buyer consultation, and then any other offers you might come up with, so that you have something in that line item. Offers you can have last for up to a year, so you put an expiration date on them. The longest you can go is a year. I always end them December 31st of whatever current calendar year I'm in. So I don't do a year out or 6 months out. I just, doesn't matter when I'm inputting an offer, they all end December 31st. And then I know in the new year, all Google Business profiles that I manage need a new offer added to them. So you could go by the same thing, or you could just have them go out for a year. You cannot renew them as far as I know. I don't think you can go back. I think last time I tried, you could not edit it because you can find the offers in your updates scroll and then edit it, but I don't think you can extend or change like the start and end date. So just remember to add another offer once it expires, but start with adding them to begin with. So home price analysis and buyer consultation would be the 2 offers. Any questions on the updates slash posts or offers
Derek, I
and
have a
events?
question.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Dolores. I'm a little confused. It seems to me that some of these posts, like offers, services, and products, could overlap. Is that okay if you put those in, if you duplicate those things in those categories?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because most people are going to be scanning things so much so they won't notice it if it's something you want them to notice. Maybe they will notice it if it's multiple places. But for example, like my no dual agency offer, I don't have it as a product, but I could very easily and would be fine as a product also.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. free newsletter could be an offer. Could try to get some subscribers for that, or an email list, which could also be a product. But yeah, yeah, don't be afraid of kind of duplicating sometimes, as long as it's kind of per best practices. But yeah, you could have it in both places. Anything else?
Hey, Derek, this is amazing. I don't think that anybody's really broken this down to me the way that you have. I wanted to ask a question though. I was stalking yours, and when I was looking at your updates, so do you find that since you've been more consistent with the viewing, the way it looks compared to like, I don't know, a year ago, that it's changed, that you've gotten more activity from it?
Yeah, I can't attribute it only to that because it's combined with all the other things I do.
Hmm.
Um, but I have at least one case that specifically talks about one update in particular or whatever. But no, I think it's more of a holistic kind of way to look at it.
Yeah.
I will say that it doesn't have to do with the updates. It has to do with pigeonholing the location.
Uh-huh.
Since I have made a commitment, which I've only made a commitment to maybe about a year now, to pigeonhole, calling Carlisle. Like I work other places other than Carlisle and Boiling Springs, but you can only rank around where you're sitting. So being an SEO person, and it's what I do, I like, all right, I'm going to commit to I'm going to rank where I am and try to dominate, like do what you're really supposed to do. So I went and ahead and pigeonholed myself, and I should have done it 17 years ago or whatever, or
Really?
no,
Okay.
I did commercial back then because I still get business elsewhere. I'm sure there are people that are turned off or whatever that don't call me, but the business that I do, I literally ride my scooter to showings. The settlement
That's
is
that's
I can
awesome.
walk there. It's a block down the street. So I've pigeonholed myself into stuff all around me because I'm using my house as my Google Business Profile address. So I rank around here. I talk about my website, all my stuff, Carlisle Realtor, Carlisle. I do talk about some other things sometimes, but as far as local SEO, it's Carlisle and Boiling Springs, and all my business now is starting to be right around here, which is perfect business. Um, so I think that's one big change that I've seen recently is the pigeonholing, accepting the
Hmm.
pigeonholing and just
Hmm.
doing it. I'm not saying it's for everybody, but that's something I've experienced for sure. And everybody, like I said, mentions reviews, whether other than that one case that I can definitely attribute to the updates, whether they are saying it from my regular reviews or from the updates reviews that I post. I'm not sure, but all of it together definitely has shown what I wanted it to do.
Beautiful. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's super easy. At least this posting strategy. That's one thing I love about it. It is a no brainer. I don't really have to do anything. Literally, I could probably do it in 30 seconds if I really had to. Any other questions? All right, sweet. With 1 minute to spare. Look at that, perfect timing. I thought, oh no, it isn't perfect timing because I didn't talk about her website. We'll keep it super short. Let's look. I will though. I could do it in a couple minutes because there are other rooms and videos and things of mine that you could go to. Actually, few 4 weeks ago, something I did website optimizations you can do to help your Google Business Profile. So you can go to that for more information. But you definitely want to have a website. She does have a website. I'm just going to click on it quick to see what it is. It's a KV Core website out of the box, which isn't necessarily bad, but there are definitely optimizations I would do on there. Optimizations that if you haven't listened to my other things, then you can go do that for deeper discussion. But there are local SEO optimizations that you can do to even out of the box brokerage websites like a KV course site or whatever you get. Most websites have even the basic stuff that can be optimized to then help your Google business profile ranking. It won't necessarily get your website to rank. That's a whole different game, but optimizing your website properly can help your Google business profile ranking. So I'll just leave it at that. It looks like hers is just out of the box, which step one, you have to have a website. If you don't have a website, Google hates that. Any reputable business has a website. It should not be a link tree. It should not be your Facebook business page. Usually they won't even allow either of those, especially a social profile as your website. If you do, you got by, and you should change it anyway because they might be hating you on the back end, even if they let it go through. But step one, have a real, actual website, even if it's the out of the box one from the broker. And then step two, optimize that as much as you can, as many features as it gives you access to. Optimize it as much as you can per other content that I or other people put out. Um, and then step after that for your website would obviously be creating a forever website that you have forever that's not going to change per your CRM or IDX or broker or whatever. And then you start spending more time and effort on number one, the local SEO stuff to help your Google business profile because that's a faster path. And then the slower path, but still worth it, would be regular SEO, trying to get your actual website to rank and that kind of stuff. So website, she does have one, so check the box. It is a real website. I'll give her 2 checks, I guess, for that, for merit. But not many optimizations going on there that I can see. So that would be the next step I would take with her website. So, Martha, if you're listening later, I hope you got something out of this. Hit me up if you have any questions or need help with any of it. And you heard my 2 notes at the top of the hour about what you changed that I maybe would change. That a little bit nitpicky, but um, yeah, a couple of notes that I put at the top about things that you already did. So, one more ask. No questions? Forever hold your peace. Anybody? All right. Thanks, everybody. Replay will go out on the email list, be posted everywhere. Actually, it'll be in here in Clubhouse till next week. And I think a bunch of replays are still in there that I have to delete, but get them while they're hot and see everybody next time. Thanks for being here and supporting everybody. I really do appreciate it. And I had a fun time today. So thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Derek.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Derek.
Derek.
Thanks, Derek.